whoever wanted to experience true freedom without sacrificing luxury or comfort, experience luxury in the middle of wildlife. At Faulkner, we construct freedom for you. Comfort, individuality, performance. Faulkner Mobil, first-class motorhome traveling.
I founded Faulkner Mobil because I believe that if you want to build vehicles like this, there is enormous potential for improvement. The products available on the market 20 years ago were not what I thought a motorhome could be. The idea for my vehicle? For that we need to go back in time a little. I was trained as an auto body and vehicle engineer, and I always thought that it should be possible to produce motorhomes which are out of the ordinary. And in a minute we will see the result. The idea was to produce a vehicle that beats everything else on the market at the time. The special thing about the vehicle is its overall construction, which we will see in detail shortly. The design is the result of more than 2 decades of evolution. Parts of the vehicle are patented, such as the middle garage, and that is what is so outstanding about the vehicle. But the middle garage is really just a means to an end, because it is surrounded by a lot of features which make the vehicle so unique. We have many outstanding features which standard motorhomes simply don't have. We have a low center of gravity. We can draw upon bus components, we have a rear engine, and the chassis is designed for transporting people and not for heavy loads. Those are important features. Because we can park a large car in the middle section, that leaves us with a completely level interior where we're completely free to experiment with different layouts. So we don't have a car in the way at the rear or other things, like an engine at the front, but we have everything almost completely free to realize customer designs. The unique thing about the living quarters is that the size produces a sense of space that is unmatched. We will see that shortly when we go inside, because the floor is completely level and there is nothing in the way that needs circumventing. On these models here, for example, if I had to load a vehicle from the rear, I would have to build cupboards or beds around the vehicle to make use of every inch of space. But that isn't the case here, because here we have a level floor. The car, the engine, everything is underneath the floor. That is why, in terms of living and use, it is so comfortable. So, wall out means we slide the entire wall out. In terms of construction, we have created a vehicle that is really unique. That is why we are able to cut open the complete wall. So a length of over 10 meters can be slid in and out. And on the other side, we cut out a large hole for the car. This is made possible by the unique patented construction of the motorhome, which makes it so extremely lightweight and sturdy. That is what makes this motorhome so outstanding and special. It simply has so much more to offer than anything else on the market. Because of its unique construction, You know the vehicle has no central beam, so the structural elements are supported elsewhere. We can design the tanks to be enormous, but so that they still aren't even noticeable. It has capacity for roughly 1,000 liters fresh water and 800 liters wastewater. This works in such a vehicle, but I can't with the Actros with its large chassis, because 1/3 of the vehicle is used up. There I don't have space to install any other technical equipment. With this vehicle, I don't have any of this additional weight. I'm very optimistic about the future because the motorhome is a significant development, and we're currently developing a few more things which will make it even better and more comfortable. Here we can see a prime example of how the vehicles have evolved over the last 20 years. Here we have an Actros, which is 19 years old, almost 20. Here we have a vehicle that is 10 years old and an Actros that is brand new. So this is the newest development. We were the first to build on the Actros or other heavy vehicles, and we have continued to systematically develop this series further. As you can see, it's a superior vehicle with a beautiful front, and then we reached a breaking point. It was time to take things further, and that was where the Performance came in. The Performance is a completely different vehicle. To understand it, one has to really take a closer look at it. These are really great vehicles and are always popular sellers, but in terms of handling and lifestyle, they simply cannot be compared with the Performance. They are available with 2 or 3 axles, just like the Performance. It is also available as Perfection, but the vehicle is somewhat shorter and has a different engine. But overall, a really nifty vehicle. We can have another look in a minute. It is a real pleasure here to look back over these 20 years. Here again, we have a very beautiful and interesting vehicle, and it shows for the record that we produce motorhomes that are completely out of the ordinary. This is an Actros with 530 HP, but it also has a 16-ton trailer hitch, so it can pull a heavy horse trailer for 7 or 8 horses, or even a large boat. I don't think I've ever seen another motorhome on the market with this kind of potential. It also has a rear garage with a hydraulic loading platform. The special thing is that you can drive the vehicle on without having to lock it in place. It locks automatically. The platform has a universal mount, which means that it always lies flat on the ground, regardless how the motorhome is parked. One drives the car on, gets out, presses a button, and the car can be put in or taken out. That's all there is to it. These are all convenient features with the coupling or the rear flap. Even more than 530 HP engine power is possible, but really not necessary. Another highlight is the flap, because it opens as a whole, as one can see, and acts as roof to protect from rain and is watertight. We have another version where the flap swings are parallel, but the disadvantage is that when you want to load in the car and it is raining, the roof acts sort of like a funnel, and the water runs inside. That is why we prefer this version, but for space reasons, some people prefer the other flap version. This flap actually has more advantages, but this shows how customers can decide for themselves and tailor their vehicle to best suit their needs. Now here we have a really beautiful vehicle, the completely new Perfection. It is brand new and full of highlights, and it is somewhat smaller than the large Performance. It has a smaller engine with 350 to 400 HP, but overall it is somewhat shorter, 10.5 meters to 10.8 meters depending on the car, and it has all the newest features. Lane departure and forward collision warning systems, night vision camera, The vehicle is fully equipped with all the technical features one can imagine today.
Dieses Fahrzeug ist im Grunde genommen voll ausgestattet mit allen technischen Dingen, die man sich heute vorstellen kann. Dann hat noch ein kleines
But it has another highlight. Let me show you what is behind this front hood. So let's have a look what's behind it. Here we can do a variety of things.
Verschiedene Dinge zu machen. So.
So, we can build in a generator, like we can see here, or we can use it as a large storage space, or put a 500 to 600 litre tank in here. Anything I need. It is the final level of enhancement of this design, and it is so clutter-free that large storage spaces were produced everywhere, so let's take a look at them. So this is our top-of-the-line model, the Performance S, with 530 HP, 12 meters in length, 18 tons total weight, middle garage, bus chassis and wall-out. Nowhere in the world will you find more living space or more technical equipment in such a vehicle. It is a patented system that is unique in the world. So now we come to a real highlight of the performance, the middle garage. I'll show it to you now. The nice thing about the middle garage is you don't have to lift a finger, all that's necessary is to press a few buttons and everything else is automatic. You don't even have to secure the car, it does it all itself. This procedure works fine on other ground conditions too, such as gravel or grass. The hydraulics are so strong that the platform drives out like a bulldozer. We choose a Mini Cooper here to have extra space for 2 bicycles or small tanks. But there is space enough for large cars or sports cars too. Mercedes E, Mercedes 300 SL, Porsche 911, or a Wiesmann Roadster or Ferrari. Everything fits comfortably, without sacrificing any interior space. So now let's take a look at the storage space options in the vehicle, and they shouldn't be underestimated, because they are enormous. Here is a small compartment with a box for small items, for example. It can be used for bottles and cases. Up here is where the run-in blocks for the middle garage can be found. Let's take a look at them. Now you can see the wonderful things you can do with this platform, which has many uses. You can set up a comfortable patio here with garden furniture. So you don't have to sit on dirty ground or wet grass. But the great thing is, everything can be slid inside in the evening and it all stays dry. You don't even have to clear away the furniture. So here we are at the perfection. Here is another enormous storage space on the side, with even enough space for 2 large e-bikes. All you have to do is unmount the wheels. In the Performance S, the storage spaces are even larger, so the bikes fit in completely. Let's go and take a look. Now here's the large storage space of the Performance S. Bike holders are already installed, and really large bikes fit in here, in addition to the bikes in the middle garage. And this is another special feature. There is a heating plate in here. When you're out in winter, you can put your ski boots or skis in here, and so they are completely heated. This is really nice when you have cold or wet shoes in winter or in autumn when it is raining. You can put your boots on here. The heater underneath is ideal and the water simply runs off. Here you get an idea of the size of the storage space. You can sit here comfortably and you still have 10 centimeters overhead. It is over 2 meters long and 60 centimeters deep, even though we have a car in here. From the outside you wouldn't even suspect how large it is. You could easily put 10 cases of beer in here. The next storage space is perfect for cables, water hoses or even small items. The rest here is tanks and technical equipment and the drain. We'll come back to that later. So this is the rear storage area. It can even be accessed from both sides. This is usually where we put chairs and other small items. It is really easy to load up right to the other side. Here, 2 chairs for example. Let's take them out. Here's the Blu-Tack tank too. And if you take a closer look, you can see that you have a 60 centimeter high space to load completely from right to left. It has a few more features too. Under the roof can be found technical items for daily use, such as a stair or cleverly stored table, which I will get out shortly. And here's a spare dish for the satellite system. You even have to stretch to get up to the ceiling because the spaces are so large, even though you wouldn't know it from the outside. Here is the rear storage space with many engineering components such as the hydraulics. But I want to show you the table, which is stored away really cleverly. You can simply lower it down from the ceiling and pull it out. What I really want to say with all this is that everything that belongs to the motorhome is remarkably easy to work with. And everything has its set place and doesn't just lie around in the vehicle. Now I want to show you what you can do with this platform. You can set up a comfortable patio here, and everything you see here can be stored perfectly in the vehicle. I don't even have to sacrifice any storage space for it, because we make optimum use of every unused corner. These rods here, for example, which are specially made to withstand the wind and are fastened at the top with a bayonet catch, are stowed away at the back in the engine compartment.
Hat seinen Platz, kann rausgenommen werden und ist sehr, sehr schnell aufzubauen und vor allen Dingen sehr, sehr stabil, wenn hier mal ein Windstoß reingeht. Dann hat die Markise noch einen Vorteil.
The awning has another special feature too. It doesn't just extend out, it rather angles down 50 centimeters over the last third, because the motorhomes are usually quite tall, and a normal awning is so high that it doesn't provide ideal protection against the sun. And now we have set up our patio with our chairs, and we can still open or close the flap. But the main thing is, we can still use this space for storage. So if I'm parked somewhere, for example, and I want to leave for a while, I can stow away my dog basket or bikes or clothes drive, for example, or other things I have with me. I can simply stow them away here and close the flap. Done. Even better, when you go inside at night or you want to leave the motorhome for a while during the day, you simply slide in the entire patio with everything on it. And nothing can happen to it from the wind, for example. All in all, it's an integrated system and has an amazing number of features. Here we have another small highlight. When the weather deteriorates, you can even just set things up in the garage. The rain is kept out, the flap can be closed, and the room is completely heated. It's perfect for some great evenings. So let's take a look at the bikes, which are 29-inch e-bikes, which are almost as large as they get. And they fit snugly in here, with a charging station nearby, and can be conveniently brought in and out. Really easy to do. What I would like to show you now is how sturdy the vehicle is and what the hydraulic support system is capable of. Because of this unique construction, and we're the only ones in the world that have it, by the way, the vehicle is so sturdy that it can be raised up completely, and any one of the individual supports could be retracted, and it would still remain standing. So let's demonstrate that now. You can mount chains or replace a tire, and it is all very practical. Don't forget, the fully loaded motorhome together with the car weighs almost 18 tons. Now it is raised roughly 20 to 30 centimeters off the ground. I could raise it much higher, but I just want to demonstrate how sturdy it is. Watch as we simply retract a support. It is so resistant to torsion that it can stand on 3 supports. I could retract each individual support as I like. That is how sturdy the vehicle is constructed. Not just because of the ingenious design, but also the composition of the different materials, such as high-strength steels, carbon fibers and carbon. The combination of these materials is what produces the sturdiness. It has no central beam in the middle, which a normal truck has, which are extremely heavy, and no cardan shaft or center bearing. It has none of this, and so it is relatively light and has a payload capacity of a good 4 tons. That is quite impressive. But the interesting thing is, we raised an 18-ton vehicle and it is standing on 3 legs, but you can still open and close all the flaps and doors normally. The vehicle has such a sturdy construction that the doors don't even bend out of shape. Here, you can see it again. Perfect. Now we come to a really important hood, because this is where the heart of the performance resides. Here it has 530 HP, but there are a lot of more fine features too. I'll open the hood and we'll take a look inside. Here we have a removable trailer hitch, for example, with a trailer load rating of 3.5 tons, which isn't exactly typical. And then we have a tool base here with all the basic tools for tire changes or sliding the wall out, in or out in an emergency situation, but which is hardly ever used. Here we can also find hoses for wastewater disposal, so you can extend the hoses by roughly 20 meters. The vehicle has a pump, but these can be used to add extensions. Here's our power unit, and there is the air conditioning and 2 alternators. This vehicle even has 3 alternators, which are combined on the engine block or the board block, so these batteries can stand 300 amperes charging power. For service, compared to the Actros, this engine has the advantage that I don't have to have somebody walking through the living room. Mechanics usually have soiled clothes on, can't always be careful, and sometimes have to go through the living room to get to the engine, but that isn't the case here. All he does is open the hood and can get easily to all the machine parts for an oil change, filter change or just general service. It is all very practical to work with. That makes a big difference. The transmission is right behind it and everything can be reached without having to go inside. Everyone asks me whether you can walk on our roofs, and so I'll show you now. We could get 20 people up here and the roof could easily withstand it. But why we are up here is to show you how much technical equipment is installed here, which you normally don't see from below. Here we have a solar unit with 1.8 kilowatt power and air conditioning systems, which we produce ourselves. To make sure that there is no noise and airflows, we install it up here on the roof. It is produced specifically for these motorhomes. Here we have a self-aligning satellite dish and exhaust systems from all the heating units, diesel and gas. Everything we have is fed up over the roof and is noise insulated, so we don't have any noise and or smell nuisances. We used to build motorhomes that had exhaust systems near the bottom, and we noticed that the smells always found their way into the vehicle, even if only the window was open. So with this, we have eliminated all these problems. Even the generator exhaust is fed up to the roof. Naturally, the wall-out is built just as sturdily and heated too. With a water heater with heating power of 14 kilowatts, it can be made ice-free. The great thing is, when you have to clear the snow and ice off the roof in winter, the wall-out can be thawed, and you can stand on the wall-out section to clear the rest of the roof. It's a small perk, but it is really helpful. We are now in the middle garage of the Performance S, and we can take a look at some of the technical equipment. Here are some pipes, professionally mounted, and a removable clothes rod. It's perfect for hanging up ski items in winter, because everything here is completely heated. The way the vehicle is built, one could sit here on a chair and all the technical equipment is within grasp. In terms of servicing and clarity of design, it is ingenious, and you can always work here in a heated room. Here I have all the heating valves, all the pumps, the water boiler and the water pump, like in a house. This is where the electrical systems are. Let's take a look. This is the central unit with all the modules. Behind there are the chargers and the gas heater, and on the other side are seals for the odor of the wastewater tank and the compressed air connection for filling the vehicle or the bikes. You can easily get to the units at the back and simply hook them on at the front to work on them. The compressor unit for the wall-out is also easy to access, so you don't have to delve into a corner. So to operate things, it is really convenient to work with. On the other side, the electrical unit has all the fuses, 220 volt, 24 volt and 12 volt, and the controls for all the excrement moving and wastewater systems. It is obvious that everything is built professionally, clearly, and is easy to service. One reason for this is, we do all the production of this vehicle ourselves. From start to finish, it is designed here. We manufacture every single component. We can produce the vehicle according to our priorities, and we aren't confined to any specific beams, shafts or exhaust systems. You won't find that here. That's why we are so free to make our own decisions about our technical equipment and how things are used, for a car, for weight. We are now back in the rear storage space where we can take a look at the hydraulics. So here we can see the hydraulic valves, for example, and the pumps, the distribution systems and the manual pump. This means that all the valves can be pumped manually if any electronics fail. Here is another really nice feature, a hydraulic tank that we produce ourselves that perfectly matches the vehicle. It's like a tailored suit. So we exploit every inch of space, and that's why such large tank volumes are possible. Now we come to the exterior flaps, which are made completely of aluminium and fully welded. They have bus handles and, really important, double latch mechanisms. It is constructed with a complete seal all round, with no interruptions whatsoever. This means their full surface presses against the frame to ensure a 100% seal. I've seen situations where seal is simply cut away in the middle for a latch, but that is a poor design and can't possibly seal properly. Here you can see all the effort we go to, because the dampers, hinges and latches are all placed behind the seal. So now we come to the main door, which with its double closing mechanisms and two locks is built just as sturdily and solidly as the side flaps, virtually impossible to break open. And now we come to the electrical systems for the complete vehicle, whereby for the performance we only buy the engine, the transmission and the electrical systems. This is where the electrical systems can be found, either from Volvo or Mercedes. Up here there's some electrical components too. This unit is made by us, and it is for the living quarters. This is where the fuses can be found. So you can quickly check a fuse from the inside to make sure everything is okay. Now I'm going to open up this special flap again to show you something. Here we made a conscious decision to place everything for the vehicle supply and disposal needs. So starting here we have excrement and wastewater, and down here is the drain pipe. Here are the 12, 24 or 220 volt fuses and the supply lines for 220 volts. Here you can fill up fresh water and heating fluids. Here you can easily access the pumps, like the pump for the heater. Another thing worth mentioning is this entire assembly has a hot water supply. So you can tour even when it is minus 30 degrees Celsius with no problem at all, because the heat always rises. So the impellers and the tanks never freeze. Super. Here is another fine feature. If you're touring at night or if you want to park, the vehicle has a complete lighting system in these corrugations on each side. As you can see, around the entire vehicle it is as bright as day. But every single side can be switched separately. If I was driving over a pass in the Alps, for example, and I wanted to avoid blinding the car behind me, I can switch off the back. This makes it easier to discern the way. It is also great when I stop at a campsite or in a poorly lit area. Even better is the fact that the entire lighting system can be operated from the bedroom. We've used that on occasion too. If there are noises outside or you have an uneasy feeling, you can press a button in the bedroom and all the lights go on. Basically, it's like a floodlight. It's great. And the light fixtures are virtually invisible because they're fully integrated. We've taken a look at the technical equipment outside, so let's look inside now. Now we come to what is probably the best part of the vehicle, the control center. An integrated part of this is the BrainPilot, which is the centerpiece of our motorhome. The complete system was developed for our vehicle together with an electronics company and designed specifically for our needs. It is an intelligent control system that keeps track of every unit in the vehicle because, and this is a special thing, it can link them to one another or switch them in tandem to create amazing comfort in the vehicle. Let me give you an example. The vehicle has more than 5 heating systems and it controls them all together. If one breaks down, it can switch on the next one. Or if it is not strong enough, it can switch on 2 together and similar things. This applies right to the electrical systems and is used for monitoring. You can view electric consumption levels and naturally monitor all the batteries. If the power drops, it switches on the generator. So far, this is all pretty standard, but it is also possible to specify idle times for the generator. I can say, don't operate during the night or Saturday mornings or any other times. It would also calculate power consumption, and if it determined that the power wasn't adequate, for example, it would start up on Friday instead of Saturday morning. For me, this demonstrates the intelligence and security the vehicle offers. So that was just a power application. I can also monitor all the tanks, control all the hydraulics, and monitor but also control all the security functions of the vehicle. I also get all the error and control messages, like whether water needs topping up, whether the batteries are almost empty, the hydraulic fluid is low, and this repeats itself throughout the whole system. We have a top-of-the-line heating system. Each individual room is monitored with temperature sensors, but they are also all treated as one single space. This means it monitors the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, and even the garage and boiler temperature. I can tell it in advance that I want 22 degrees in the bathroom at 7 a.m. and 20 degrees again at 10 a.m. and the system does all this automatically in the individual rooms. That's convenience. There's also a dynamic temperature control system which detects when the outside temperature drops and then raises the temperature inside to compensate for any cold propagation. I could go on for hours about this, but you can see right away how very complex and elaborate the system is. And we have been building it for 22 years now. New developments have been added continuously, and it currently has a touchscreen naturally with BrainPilot 4. And this is what we currently install in all our motorhomes. Here we have yet another practical feature in the vehicle, what's known as the absence button. So if I simply press the button, it switches off all the 220-volt circuits and all the pumps, and closes the central locking. It would be like I was at home and decided to go out. I turn off all the water taps, switch off the lights and close the doors. It does this here with one button. And when I return, I can switch it all on again with one button. It's a nice and convenient feature, and you don't have to go through the whole place with a key because one button does it all. Here's one of my personal favorites, which I built myself. Actually, I'm always touring around in this vehicle, and I developed a habit of spending a lot of time here designing, like when I'm on holiday and my kids are skiing or swimming in the lake. I set up a computer workplace here, and I use it often. It can be set up quickly. I open the flap, pull down the table, get out the mouse, and I'm up and running in a few minutes. I can raise up the screen as high as I like. It's also nice to sit here because I'm not in the way when anyone goes in or out. I can glance at the TV occasionally, enjoy the view out of the window if it is snowing or the sun is shining. I've designed a lot of things here because one can really think creatively here. Especially for people who use the vehicle professionally, it is a super workplace. I really enjoy sitting here and working. It is a complete PC and a large screen, which can't be compared with a laptop, and it's ideal for working. So, now it's my turn to present the interior. We have here a total length of 12 meters and a width of 2.5 meters, which is actually not quite large enough for us. Have you ever seen those designs with 2 or 3 sections that can be slid out? But we can slide out the whole wall section, which is what I will do now. There. That's all there is to it. So here we have our floor plan, which I would like to show you as an example. Let me describe a few details to you. For example, here we have a quite large, round living room suite. Here we can lie down comfortably and 2 people can put up their feet, sometimes even 4 people. But we can also enjoy fine dining here too. So there's nothing to stop having a nice meal in the motorhome. Just now I mentioned television, And this is how it works. First, we raise the satellite dish. And here's the remote control. The TV is concealed behind the cupboard because we don't want to have it visible all the time, but we do want a large screen. And that's how quickly you can switch on the TV. Naturally, everything is adjusted automatically. We have ample storage space here, and above that the air conditioning vents, so the cool air doesn't blow in our faces, but spreads nicely around the room instead. And here inside we have some decorations, as you can see. Some sorted, some not. This is our compartment for beverages, perfect for 1.5-liter water bottles or even a tasty wine. Beside that is the central vacuum cleaner system, all naturally in its own preset compartment. Here are the holders for the long pipes, and everything is neatly arranged here. Here's our glass cabinet, with glasses at the top and dinnerware below. Naturally, we have proper crystal glasses for drinking fine wines or mineral water, and below that, the proper porcelain dinnerware. And if we get into an accident, no problem, because everything is fixed in place. Or if we have to brake hard, no problem, because everything remains where it belongs. Everything has its own place. We don't have to stuff any cloths between them. The cabinet naturally remains fully functional even when the wall art is drawn in. It is still possible to reach everything. Now I would like to demonstrate to you how we can really do some proper cooking in our motorhome. We have no connection to the power grid, we have no generator running, and we don't have to flip any switches beforehand to cook with 230-volt household appliances. Let's begin with the water. Today we will make some spaghetti, but not bolognese, because it's only a demonstration. I'd like peas along with that, and I'll switch on the first induction cooktop. Now the water's cooking. So what else do we need? Salt. We have that here. And here we have the peas and also the eggs. And at the same time, I want to bake a savory baguette in the oven. And another thing, a 35-liter waste bin. Convection air, okay. 160 degrees is good, and off we go. So now let's heat up the peas. So everything is on now. We don't need vinegar right now, but we do need some good oil for the eggs. And we'll get the noodles out while we're at it. Up here, for example, we have our coffee bar. So let's make some coffee, just to demonstrate that it is possible. We can also open the window and also get some fresh air. It looks like the oil is spreading out nicely. So, the baguette is in the oven. Here are the eggs, the peas and hot water, and now I will switch on the coffee machine. And we still aren't connected to the outside power grid. The coffee's running. Now I can add some tasty spices. Coffee and eggs are finished, the noodles are still cooking, the peas are done, and the baguette is just about finished. This kitchen arrangement is naturally just an example. We could also have a teppanyaki, or here we once had a two-zone wine cooler. But any other individual arrangement is possible too, such as a wooden cabinet instead of glass. Naturally, the furniture can also be snow white or supplied in other wood tones or high gloss. It's all available just the way the customer prefers. We have here a quite spacious bathroom, but the shower and WC room are still separately partitioned by glass doors. There is a large wash basin for washing the hands or hair. And something that was really important to us, all bathroom utensils can be stored here, with all the towels and small items. And everything is nicely arranged in 2 drawers. And here we have a proper medicine cabinet with all the first aid materials and other things one needs for a trip. Oh, I just noticed a cream for backaches. Here we have 2 separate rooms for shower and WC, each of which can be closed off with a glass door. In the WC room there is a towel radiator and an electric ceiling vent which is equipped with a rain sensor. The special toilet has a proper remote control. It is a porcelain macerating toilet, and it has a washlet with flush and blower function and also a heated seat. The floor is made of Korean and matches the rest of the bathroom. And over here in the shower basin and the ceiling are also made with Korean. It has premium shower fittings. The temperature is preset and it has a rain shower type spray as well as a starry sky ceiling. Finally, a mirror from head to toe at a good distance too. And all that in a motorhome. We can partition off the bedroom just like the bathroom. And here we have a bed which you can walk around completely on a level floor. Don't forget, we can have a Porsche parked in the garage, or a Ferrari, Mercedes E-Cabriolet, or a Mini Cooper along with 2 bicycles. But we still have a large amount of space here at the back. The bed height is manufactured to suit your preferences. We like it high up, so that we aren't so low down when we get up. But the type of bed is up to you. And because it is so high, we can have 2 large drawers underneath for laundry, for example.
Ordentliche Schmutzwäscheschubladen. 2 Stück, wo man schmutzige Wäsche unterbringen kann. Deshalb habe ich auch
That is why we have no washing machine.
die, wenn wir eine hätten,
But if we did have one, it could be installed here, for example.
untergebracht zu werden. Hier ist der Schrank
Here's
für
the
die Dame.
cupboard for the ladies,
Hier ist der
and
Schrank
across from that, the cupboard for the gentlemen.
Klimaauslässe.
Above there are the air vents,
Hier haben wir noch
and the
mal
cupboards for the folded clothes.
Schrank für liegende Garderobe. Und hier
And here some more cupboards.
jede Menge Schrank. Schubladen braucht
Drawers are useful too, and here we have 3.
3 Stück.
Here we have more clothes hangers for the first set of clothes, and here some jackets are hung up, but it is also perfect for blouses and shirts. And here some clothes hangers in the open. In our bedroom we have another TV. It can be raised even further, so that the blanket doesn't block the view when you're lying down. We've thought of everything. Back here we have a bright room with 2 large windows that open outwards and a skylight. The skylight can be opened when it is raining, but it still doesn't rain in. Surrounding the window is a starry sky ceiling, which includes some technical features. It has guides for an insect screen and a shade, so they won't be subject to a vacuum pressure and get damaged.
Sodass die nicht einen Unterdruck bekommen und dann zerstört werden. Die Fenster haben
The windows have separate shades and insect screens too, and they have double glazing, are made of genuine glass, and can be opened outwards. I can adjust them to different positions and even open them all the way, and it still doesn't rain in. And this is the button I press to switch the floodlights on and off outside. When the wall is drawn in, it is still possible to use the complete motorhome. Sometimes the motorhome can park somewhere where there is so little space that the wall can't be slid out. But it is still possible to use everything. You can reach the glass cabinet, the waste bin, each pot, the fridge, everything you need. And importantly, also the toilet and the shower. The bedroom can be used fully, you can get by around the side, and you can even reach the last blouse at the back of the last cupboard. So, theoretically, we could switch off the light, adjust the steering wheel into position, and drive away now. But actually, I prefer letting my husband drive. So let's sum up. We are sitting here in the Faulkner Mobile Performance S, which is one of the finest motorhomes in the world, with features such as the wall out, which enlarges the living quarters in no time from 30 to 35 square meters, or the patented middle garage, with space even for large cars, or the rear engine, which allows the driver at the front to drive in peace. But at some point, we have to touch on the subject of prices. So with the Perfection, we start at 775,000 euros. But from then on, it all depends on you, with your own individual tastes and preferences, which we look forward to accommodating personally. You can be assured of that.